Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, the Honorable Donald John Trump.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Myself Fatima Mehek. Today we will be breaking down one of the most significant diplomatic and political transformations in modern history, Trump's second term as the President of United States and how his policies will be reshaping US role in world affairs. Since January 2025, when Trump was sworn in for the second time, his administration has taken drastic steps leading to major geopolitical realignments. So when we are closely looking into Trump's policies, we can see there is a shift in US-Russia relations. And also coming into the domestic affairs, we can see that already the Trump administration has made some very strict domestic policies inside US. Third one is the military intervention in Somalia, which was led by the US. And then we can also see that there is a heightened tension of trade war between US and China. And finally, US is pulling back from international organizations. So all these decisions and developments which are taken by the US administration is actually showing, or it's actually changing the world order, which is affecting the existing alliances, economic power structure, and also the human rights policies. So today in this video, I will be deeply delving into all these developments. So stay tuned till the end, and if you're a person who is watching my video for the first time, please subscribe so you will be getting very engaging and insightful contents related with international relations and humanitarian affairs. So let's get started. So now let's look into Russia-Ukraine war and US involvement in peacemaking. On February 10, 2025, President Trump initiated a direct peace talk with Russia and Saudi Arabia, completely excluding Ukraine and NATO allies. So this caused a diplomatic crisis as the NATO allies, especially France and Germany, accused Trump of undermining European security. In the peace talk held in Saudi Arabia, after 3 years of war between Ukraine and Russia, finally Russia agreed to halt military operations in Ukraine, signaling an end to hostilities. One of the historic moments was after years of enmity between two Cold War rivalries, diplomatic relations between US and Russia were restored, with embassies reopening after years of sanctions and diplomatic tensions. On the other hand, there is a heightening tension between US and Ukraine relations, and also we can see that the Trump blamed Ukraine for the war and also called President Zelensky a dictator without election.
A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction. In the meantime, we're successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia.
As a result of the unexpected incidents happening, NATO leaders reacted with outrage, holding an emergency summit in Paris to discuss how to respond to the US shift in allegiance. So we can see that all these marks a shift or a transition from the previous Biden administration's complete support for Ukraine, and right now the Trump administration is more favorable and supporting Russia. So this is actually causing some fluctuations and issues in the collective NATO security framework, and also I think right now the whole world or the whole world order is becoming much more favorable to Russia's geopolitical ambitions. So now let's look into US involvement in Israel-Palestine war. Right after Donald Trump was elected as the president of US, he announced a significant breakthrough in Middle East, a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Palestine, accompanied by a proposal for the release of the hostages held. Later on February 5, 2025, Trump initially proposed the depopulation of the Gaza and placing it under US control, branding the move as a humanitarian and economic initiative. His plan suggested turning Gaza into a high-end resort city. However, after facing a complete rejection from the Arab states, he just walked away from his proposal, stating that he was not trying to impose the plan, but he was just recommending an economic redevelopment plan for a place which was affected by war. So when we are closely analyzing the proposal of the depopulation of the people of Gaza, which was proposed by Trump, we can see that there was a clear violation of the Palestinian sovereignty and human rights. And also the opposition that he faced from the Arab states clearly shows that it is so hard for enforcing such kind of a controversial policy. So now let's look into US withdrawal from international organizations and agreements. On the first week of the second term, Trump initiated a full-scale withdrawal from major international organizations and agreements as part of his America First policy. Firstly, he withdrew from World Health Organization, criticizing that WHO was more favorable to China during COVID-19 pandemic. Secondly, he withdrew from Paris Climate Agreement, arguing that it was putting a lot of financial burden on U.S. industries. And then, right now, U.S. began a 90 days review of its membership in UN Human Rights Council and UNESCO. Fourthly, U.S. put sanctions on the ICC members who is investigating U.S. military actions in foreign countries. And finally, we can also see that the Trump signed an executive order withdrawing the U.S. funding for Palestinian refugees under UN Relief and Works Agency, aligning with the Israeli criticism of the agency. On the other hand, as part of the America First policy, Trump imposed a 10% of tariff on Chinese imports, so this is escalating the trade war between US and China. On the other hand, some temporary delays are put on the increase of 25% of tariff on the goods which will be imported from Canada and Mexico to US for 30 days, as there are some discussions happening between these countries with US for cooperating and strengthening the border security measures. So now let's explore the immigration crackdown and some key domestic policy changes in US. On February 1, 2025, Trump declared a national emergency at the US-Mexico border, implementing some of the strictest immigration policies in modern US history. Other than this, we can also see that around 117,000 undocumented illegal migrants are deported. So this shows one of the mass deportation that ever happened in US history. Even few days back, we also saw some news about some of the illegal migrants from India who entered into US are deported back using the handcuffs, and this caused a lot of controversies. And for a temporary basis, the entry of the refugees to US is blocked. And now looking into the domestic policies, we can see one of the main change, which is the end of the birthright citizenship, meaning that the children who are born in the US to non-citizen parents no longer receive automatic citizenship. Next one is Trump issued an executive order that formally recognizes only male and female genders in federal policies and programs, reversing the previous policies that acknowledged a spectrum of gender identities. And next one, we all know that USAID is one of the major organizations which is funding or which is providing aid to the humanitarian crisis happening around to the world. And right now, thousands of the USAID employees are placed on leave as part of the sweeping budget cuts to the foreign aid programs, which negatively impacts the humanitarian sphere. As we know that US is one of the largest funder. So these are some of the key policy changes that I noticed that happened inside US when the Trump came into administration. Finally, looking into military intervention and counterterrorism, on February 1, 2025, Trump ordered an airstrike on Somalia against the Islamic State senior attack planner. Somalia government praised US for its unwavering support for countering terrorism. So to conclude, the Trump second term is fundamentally altering the global order. So the key takeaways of today's video is that the weakening US-European relations and the potentially fragmenting NATO, shifting alliance towards Russia and the Middle East, creating new diplomatic tensions, and finally, prioritizing US economic interest over the global stability, leading to potential trade conflicts. So in today's video, I tried to cover almost all the key points. If I missed something, feel free to add your points and comments in the chat box. And also, if you found my video is insightful and interesting, try to like, share, comment, and also subscribe. And also please click the bell icon so you will get updated about the most engaging and insightful contents related with international relations and humanitarian affairs. And also in the part 2, I'm also planning to do a video which is mainly focusing upon the future of India-US relation under Trump administration. So stay tuned for the next part and see you. Bye-bye.